So, if you only had 1 month to rediscover who you are and to have a transformation of your life, then this is going to be the video you want to watch. I'm going to leave you with some practical ways that will help you to be able to rediscover who you are. And we're going to take this week by week so that you can be able to implement this easily. Week one is where we're going to reconnect with who we are in our inner world. The moment when you wake up and you realize that you really just don't know who you are anymore, it's not just because you had a big realization. You've probably been realizing it for the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, and it's now just becoming a little bit unbearing. We don't just lose ourselves in just one moment of time, but what actually happens is that over the course of our lives, we are living lives based off of other people's expectations of ourselves. So our expectation of being a mom, our expectations of being a colleague, our expectations of being an employee, our expectations of being a wife. And this is not necessarily that it's a bad thing. Now, we all know that friendships, relationships, working, all of those things take a sacrifice. Over time, your identity starts to get shaped by what's actually needed from you than what's actually true about you. So when you remove all of this constant noise and you remove all of these responsibilities, this is how we're going to be able to reconnect with our inner self. We want to make sure that we do this so that we can be able to make space and time for us to be able to hear ourselves. The reason why I put this as the first thing is because we really want to make sure that we spend time making sure that we hear from ourselves again. So what this is going to look like is that you're not going to spend time scrolling on your phone, okay? You're going to give yourself about 10 minutes, no scrolling through your phone. That means no music, no distractions, no podcasts, no nothing, so that you could be able to feel comfortable in silence and start being able to ask yourself questions that will help you to be able to rediscover yourself. Also this week, I want you to limit the advice that you get, okay? Because when you continue to get advice, and I talk about this all the time to my little sister, when my little sister comes to me to ask me questions about her life, ask me questions about, just direction and everything. As much as I would want to just give her an answer, I always ask her, what do you think? How would you feel if you put yourself XYZ position? What is your thought process around that? How does making this decision make you feel? Explore, what style do I like? What kind of hairstyles do I like? Because it's so important that you become curious about yourself. If you're not curious about yourself, you're not going to understand you, your mind, your thought process, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you like, what you don't like. Now, this does not mean that you ignore people's advice and sound mind and wisdom, but most times we get into this habit of asking other people what we should do about certain things that we forget to sit and ask ourselves first. A lot of the times we operate out of inherited beliefs. So what that means is we operate our life based off of what we've been taught. If we've been bullied about our looks, that can become an inherited belief. So self-discovery really is going to happen when you interrupt that autopilotness of how you respond to things. When you're able to reflect on yourself and reflect on your decisions, it really does help you to break any kind of unconscious identity patterns. When your brain stops absorbing external identity cues, it naturally starts reconnecting with old pathways tied to self-awareness, preference, and tied to your own intuition. So that is the key take for this week. Week 2 is all about rebuilding self-respect with small actions. So this week, I really want you to move your body. Moving your body is going to help you to reconnect with your physical self. I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you start walking again, or you start taking little actions to move your body a little bit again, you start to feel more capable. Your energy changes, your mood changes, everything kind of shifts. That's the serotonin that we're looking for. Movement increases dopamine and serotonin, and these are the chemicals that are directly tied to our self-worth, our confidence, and our motivation. So go for a 5-minute walk outside, play a YouTube video, do a 2-minute stretch if you can. Practice your deep breathing in through your diaphragm and not breathing in through your chest. You can even put some music on and dance around. Or you can find maybe a slow mobility routine on YouTube. There's so many free videos, resources here on YouTube for you to be able to use. So don't think about moving your body as you need a gym membership. Just go on YouTube, find something that is 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and do that. We have to stop telling ourselves that we do not have time, because we do have time. We need to start embodying a woman who makes space and time for herself. Also this week, we're going to go on a self-date. When your life revolves around roles and responsibilities, you start to shrink down to what is needed of you versus who you are. And so I really want you to go on a self-date this week in order to give you space outside of the roles that you have. Now, you don't have to go out and go for dinner by yourself or go for lunch by yourself. Find some place in the house. Sometimes I like to go in the closet and just have my own 10, 15 minutes downtime. This could also look like you taking a pause in the car in between your errands. After I drop off my son at school, I like to sit in the car for about 10, 15 minutes and just kind of rest and not have any music playing, no phone calls, no texts. I'm just sitting with myself. You can go for solo coffee dates or play music while you're in the shower or you're taking a bath. Doing your makeup is also something that I feel like is a little bit of a date for me. Like sometimes I'll just sit here and I'll like do my makeup and I'm just like reconnecting with myself, connecting with my thoughts, what comes up in my head. Week number 3 is going to be creating alignment through self-trust. Confidence rebuilds through you repeatedly showing up for yourself. So the first thing we're going to do is we are not going to be comparing ourselves this week, okay? Anytime a thought comes up and you're comparing yourself to anyone that you know, who you see on social media, you're going to shut that down, okay? Shut it down. Comparison isn't just a confidence killer, but it also is something that can eventually start to replace your identity with somebody else's highlight reel. When you are already in this space of feeling lost and feeling disconnected with who you are, comparison is going to be that thing that trains your mind to see who you aren't versus seeing who you could actually be. So you need to mute triggers. Unfollow people off of social media if you need to. Mute their accounts. Limit your scrolling to 10 to 15 minutes a day. Put your phone across the room if sometimes you just randomly grab your phone and just get on social media and it just can be like autopilot kind of thing. Put your phone across the room so you don't get tempted. But if you do come across a video or something while you are scrolling that kind of makes you feel a little bit less than, just ask yourself, what is it that I do admire about this person? Ask yourself, what do I admire about her that I can be able to build in my own way for my own life? You truly cannot become the woman of your dreams, become the woman that you are meant to be if you're busy measuring yourself to everyone around you, especially because these people aren't even living the same life as you. They're not in your season. They're not in your reality. They're not you. So measuring yourself up with these women is only going to pull you away from becoming the woman that you are meant to become. Okay, week number 4 is stepping into the woman that you're becoming. Your identity starts to grow from the small choices that you make every single day. It's about you nudging yourself into the right alignment. So you have to make sure that you ask yourself questions like, what would my future self choose today? This morning, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, earlier than what I even wanted to wake up today. And I thought to go back to bed, but I started thinking about all the videos that I wanted to film today. And I thought, I am going to be so proud of myself if I get up now, get ready, and I start filming these videos. My future self, the woman that I see myself in 10 years, wouldn't have slept until 8:30. She wouldn't have done that. So I got myself up. So you got to start asking yourself, what will my future self choose? How will she speak to herself? How does she dress like? What are some things that she will let go of? What are any emotional distress or responsibilities that aren't suited for her life anymore? What would she let go? There's so much power in our tongue. And if we speak life over ourselves and we speak positivity over ourselves, we start to see our lives in that light versus if we continuously speak death and speak negativity to our life. So this month is not about finding you. It's really just about uncovering who you are, going back to the root core of who you are before roles and responsibilities took over. So I really hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was and you enjoyed this conversation, then you will most definitely love this space. We talk about all things womanhood, motherhood, beauty, lifestyle, glowing up again, and feeling like ourselves. So I would love if you join the family over here by subscribing, like this video if you did, and don't forget to share it with a girlfriend who might be in the same season as you. And don't be shy, leave a comment. Let me know something down below that you do in order to help you to rediscover yourself. Any little daily habits that you do to kind of connect with who you are. I would love to know. I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Until then, remember that you are loved, beautiful, treasured, and you're valued. Adios. Mwah.